अरे रुको रुको सर रुको,
एक मिनट
बहुत दिनों के बाद मिल रहे हैं।
सर या
दादा 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 सिक्योरिटी
एक मिनट
अल्लाह सोने को टाइम लगे।
Yes.
Yes.
Achha, incidentally, today is the 20th year of company.
12th April it released.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
2000. Yeah, we didn't know. We just realized.
You just got.
Oh, 20
सर
years.
या मैम
वही खल्लास combination.
20 years.
and look here.
लोग क्या
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
How are you? Good. How are you? Look so different. Hi. You look so different in that look.
बढ़िया एकदम है। चलिए, thank you very much everybody. कहाँ कहीं भी बैठ जाएंगे, बताइए कहाँ बैठेंगे। हम आपके पास बैठे।
देखिए सर
First, I want to start congratulating each other, me and Isha, on the 20th anniversary of company. I still remember first when I offered her to do this Khalas song. Obviously she was just starting and she wasn't sure whether she should do it or not. Then do you think it's right for me to do it? She asked me. Now that is the height of innocence to ask a filmmaker, But I said, see, there is no guarantee anyone can give. But the point is, since it's the only song which will be promoted, and it is not like a regular item song, it's a very hard-hitting, it has scope for a lot of expressions. And the way she says khalas and all that is actually the soul of the film. And I think you get a lot of exposure to that. And then she took about maybe 1 or 2 minutes thinking time and said yes. And here we are, after all this time, Isha, I'm so happy about the release of company, khalas, Yeah, now coming to Dhahanam, see, like everyone knows, I have an affinity for crime dramas ever since I started my career. And probably any crime drama I've done has always been set in a city like Mumbai most of the time, with Satya and company. But the stories which belong to this particular region where this film is based upon has been shot, it's almost like the Wild West in terms of its area, the kind of people, and generally people always have something of the region and terrain rubs off on their personalities, like you all know. So I thought that would be the main difference. And so when I told the story to the MX creative team, they also were very excited, and that's how the collaboration happened. And to give a brief, like Isha is probably the only person is out of place in this film, in the series, because she comes as an outsider to this region as a police officer, and it is through her eyes the story is unfolded. And so the fact that she can't believe that a land like this exists, and utter lawlessness or whatever it's called, and it's through her. And of course we have a cast, the wonderfully talented Abhishek and Avidash playing the main protagonists and antagonists in the film, and Mr. Sayaji Shinde. The first time I still remember, one very senior journalist recommended Sayaji to me for shoot. So when he came to my place, the moment the door opened and he stepped in, I knew this was a great actor. Immediately I said, he is the actor. Then when it started, shooting. They were shooting in Bihar. Like he was, these guys were there. And from there, I'm getting calls. Ramu, we made a mistake. This guy is too melodramatic. He's too over dramatic. They were giving complaints on Saji. Then I said, now it's already done. What can we do? Try and manage something like that. And then when they came back with the rest, I said, Benny, this guy is the best in the film. What are you talking about? He's literally saved the film. You know? But Saji, आपका चेहरा में विलन है. I don't know whether, but mostly in real life it will be the opposite. Okay. And then of course, yeah. Yeah. And Naina is playing a village girl who gets wronged. The family gets killed by some landlords in some atrocity. And later she becomes a Naxalite. So this is briefly about the characters. And yes, the film, I mean the series is very what I made so many films, I'm not able to get that out. You know? Yeah. I mean the beauty of a web series, after making so many films for so many years, I realized it gives you so much of time to emotionally immerse into the characters. It gives you time to explore, and people almost feel that they actually were living with the characters in the journey of the story, which is unraveled. And because of that, when like she announced just now, as she mentioned, 2 seasons, so the characters keep going in and out. So, like I said, if Isha is the narrator of the story, and at what point of time she comes into the story is different, till that something else happens, and there will be a lot of non-linear aspect to it, in terms of how the characters come and go. But I hope and I really think it's going to create a very new visual experience and emotional experience for the people who watch shows. Thank you.
Who plays our lead. Naina Ganguly, who plays our little Naxalite, very terrifying character, nothing like what she looks today with all of y'all. And of course Abhilash, who plays the negative character. Again, when you look at him, he looks unlike time.
ये थोड़ा आ गया ना चंदू फुड़े
So it's primarily a revenge story. So obviously we always use this phrase called burning with revenge. You know, it's just so I think that's the context of the title.
Ram sir, your
Isha, congratulations to you also, Ella as well, because we launched you. How does it feel like in 20 years of association and today again on the same platform?
Good afternoon, everyone. It's always a pleasure to work with RGV. He is one of his kind. And you realize this.
I think there's something in between. You can't see.
And yes, of course, I was launched in Khalas by him. And I was very apprehensive, like he mentioned, and like I mentioned in my earlier interviews, because before Khalas happened to me, I had played only the girl next door kind of roles in the South. And when RGV wanted to shoot with somebody who looked hot, I thought I was most inappropriate for something like that. And it was a revelation for me to see myself like that. I never thought, I remember he showed me the entire song in your house, in the home theatre. And he said, see, and I said, this is me. It was unbelievable for me because I never thought I could look like that. So RGV, he's always known to do something out of the ordinary, and called me for Dhahanam. I didn't know what it was all about. All I knew was I was talking to RGV after 10 years. And I knew that he had called me, and since he had called me, it would be something worth my while. I don't question him much. I only questioned him once for Khalas, and then it was history. So after that I said I should keep my mouth shut. He just told me that it's a great ongoing series and it's a fab role, and I think you should do it. That's it. So I said, okay, fine. And he just gave me a one-line narrative. And here I am. That was all that there was.
Hi guys, this content all set to rule the OTT kingdom.
I mean, yeah. See, I would say primarily, a story is a story. A story is basically about conflict between characters. But like I mentioned, I think the moment the terrain is different, something which is not seen, I feel that creates a visual layer which would make the experience feel much more newer than whatever you've done. So to that extent, I think there's no parallel to Dhahanam, especially because of the terrain. Yeah? So in all these shows, the Indian shows which are there, I just definitely feel, yes, like I said, it's a very violent film. It's to do with revenge. There, on one track, there is something happening between the landlords and Naxalites, and then there is some inter-family rivalry, and between people who don't want to be in violence, they're sucked into violence. So the whole thing is caused by this particular terrain. So, for example, Isha is a police officer who comes in, but she only can do so much when there is absolutely no respect for law, and on top of that, the pressures come. So this kind of thing probably has been seen in various films or various stories. But I feel the unique experience is the place it is being situated. Yeah.
Also, Isha ma'am, as we know that Rohit Shetty Cop universe is a complete different thing. But these days, female characters are, nailing the role of cop. So what is your take on that? You have previously also played cop characters, right?
Yeah, I think Isha Koppikar is kind of synonymous with cops. And I don't know what it is, but sometimes I genuinely feel that if I was not an actor, probably I would have been a cop. Well,
I wouldn't mind being caught by a cop like you.
well, so then it also is a part of my surname. I don't mind changing it from Koppi to Coppi, Kar. So I love playing a cop, and I think it kind of goes with my demeanor. Even in my personal life, I'm kind of a disciplinarian, and I always fight for what is right. I'm very righteous as well. So I love donning the cop and playing this character. Well, I've done it differently, and here it's very different. Like RGV said, the whole terrain, it's very rural, it's different. A lot of lawlessness in the sense. This character is suddenly placed in an environment where there's a lot of political pressure, and she cannot act the way she would want to. So that kind of is very demoralizing for somebody who already has authority but can't act. And so far and so forth, that's how it is. More than just this, it's the narrative that matters. I start the series, and I actually didn't know this, but a lot of people think I have a very good voice. Especially after this. Yeah, she's like, I really love you and I love your voice. I was like, oh, that's something new. I wasn't aware of that. So, so Sutradhar jisko kehte hain, right from the beginning of the series towards the end, I take the story forward, and it's through my point of view, what happens in the lives of the Maxwell, the gang lords, or all the characters, much like the Colombian cop in Narcos. So it's woven through all these, the interrelationships between all the characters. So that's what it is. And it's very interesting to play somebody like this, because I think in a whole ensemble of so many male actors, I think we're just two of us. Right? I don't know if I don't know. Because RGV always has a lot of women around him. I don't know how many are here in the series. So here it's only him.
There are a lot of women in the series, but we took care that each woman will know the presence of the other women.
He's very smartly done that. So that's it. Thank you.
Sir, again. So sir, you have given us brilliant projects already, especially in this genre. Be it Company, Sarkar, and who can forget Satya, of course. So my question is, what different and new is there, in this story, and was there any pressure, considering the fact that this is going to release on an OTT, and OTT audience a bit more critical, as we all know. So, and they don't have to go any far, they are going to compare your project with your previous projects. So was there any pressure?
See, to start with, I'm not sure this can be comparable to any of the previous crime dramas I've done, like explained, because both the characters and where it is placed and the kind of issues it deals with, like I said, the Naxalites or the landlords, and those kind of things is something I have never dealt with in my past. Point one. And point two, like why I'm emphasizing, you see, a story is a story. But for example, when I made the Booth, the horror film, probably I was the first one to set it in an apartment. Normally all horror films were set in a house on a hill or somewhere where you can't, in a forest or something like that. So in middle of a show or an apartment, something is happening. It changes the entire dynamics of what you think a horror film is about. So I would take a reversal of that risk. In a concrete jungle like Mumbai, to set a Satya, and then to see these vast wastelands, where there's no amenities, so no nothing. So they almost are reminiscent of the Wild West, like cowboys in the Western films, 1960s Western films. So I would think that would be the difference. To that extent, I think it cannot be compared, at least to what I've done in this genre before.
Thank you. And Abhishek, you same amount, right? Yeah, so you have done some interesting projects like Sultan Pataka, right? So I have a question, how was it working with an amazing director who has already set a benchmark in this genre?
See, for me, it's like dream come true. मैं अपना सपना जी रहा हूँ. मुझे हमेशा से हीरो बनना था फिल्मों में. So here I am just doing my job, enjoying every single thing. Like me sitting here right now and witnessing all of this thing and sharing the stage with Ramu sir, Shinjay sir, Isha ji, all of them. Like it's beautiful, and even you guys. मैंने हमेशा सपना देखा था कि यार मैं स्टेज पे होऊंगा और मुझसे पत्रकार जो है दो चार अच्छे से सवाल पूछेंगे. So मैं बड़ा खुश हूँ, और ये वो डायरेक्टर्स हैं और जब आप इस सपने को जी रहे होते हो और आप बॉम्बे में होते हो एंड यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग द सिनेमा, सो यू स्टार्ट अंडरस्टैंडिंग ओके नाउ दिस इज वर्क, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू. सो मेरा हमेशा से रामू सर के साथ काम करने का सपना था, और मुझे नहीं लगता कि ऐसा कोई आदमी होगा जिसका नहीं होगा कंपनी और एनी शूट. सो मैं इंतज़ार कर रहा हूँ कब रामू सर डायरेक्ट करेंगे खुद और मुझे वो मौका मिलेगा. सो आई एम स्टिल वेटिंग फॉर दैट, बट थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर गिविंग मी दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी. मैं कई बार बोल चुका हूँ, मेरे लिए इसकी बहुत अहमियत है, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. थैंक यू वेरी मच. सो पटाखा वॉज ऑल्सो वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग विद विशाल सर. इट्स अगेन ऑन द सेम नोट, ही इज ऑल्सो अ ब्रिलियंट डायरेक्टर. आई एम जस्ट गेटिंग लकी. आई वांटेड टू बिकम हीरो and I am becoming it every single day. So my whole process is I'm learning and I'm working hard. Please आप लोग आशीर्वाद दीजिए जरूर. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah.
He always give interesting answers, and that's the way he is, I believe. Isha, I want to ask you, like, your fans want to see you more often, but of late they don't get to see you more often. So what is the reason behind that? Well, the thing is, now that there is OTT and now it's more content driven, and now it's more about, I think a lot of actors, they're getting a good and a fair chance to act. For me, it's not just about running around trees and just working for the sake of working, to be very honest. I have a lot on my plate. I'm an entrepreneur and I have a startup of my own, which is the hospitality industry. Also, I do a lot of, I'm trying my hand in politics as well. So,
Wow!
amazing. That deserves a clap, I believe. So, I mean, of course, I'm not going to stand for elections and all of that, Ajay, but yeah, I'm taking care of the ladies' transport wing in BJP. So, yeah, for now. So then, and of course, I have a daughter, I have a husband, he's into the hospitality business, he's a hotelier. So then I said that काम करने के लिए मतलब कुछ अच्छा हो. ऐसे I got a lot of scripts. I was working after, in fact, Rihanna was just 3 months old. Since then I've been working, but I've been working in the south, not here. I think South has understood my value much more than Bollywood has. Is it? Probably. So yeah, they welcomed me even in the beginning. In the beginning of my career, the first film that I did down in Tamil, I got a Filmfare Award for that. I did a lot of great films in the South. And now, yes, now again, my South Indian director. So I don't know, it's something, it's some connection that I have with the South. So you will see me much more. I have about 5 projects this year, out of which 3 are web OTTs, web shows, and the 2 films. So you will see me a lot. And they're really great.
Each one is different.
You would love to hear. Yeah, one I'm a cop, one I'm something else, one I'm something else. So it's great, you know, a good platter. You will see a nice, it's a good buffet of me.
Mouth watery already.
Yes, thank you.
Abhishek, my next question goes.
Work with you as a director. Why did you not direct this?
Yeah. See, I think the approach to a series or web series, I feel is very different from how a feature film happens because of the amount of number of episodes or the length of footage, unlike a 2-hour film. Direction is eventually about taking decisions of the story, of where it should be shot, and the characterizations, design of the character, and the casting, and the look, and everything. For instance, many people are not aware that Narcos has 19 directors, not one. You know, the showrunner will be just one. You know, and it's not even the episode is shot. Each episode is shot by. It is one track because that is equivalent of what I would say an architect's design of a certain scale model and structural drawings, and then the contractors will start building. You know, they are approaching the local problems in terms of practical problems, but they more or less are obligated to carry the design, which they cannot go beyond. So I think to zoom out and see it from the top of all the departments, not getting directly involved, gives you a certain new way of constructing a project. So which is the reason I decided to use others here.
Why did you choose to debut with MX as a producer?
I mean, because I really connected to the creative team at Karan Bedi and Mansi Srivastava and Parag Pranay. First met them. And when I told the story, they were very excited, and I like them as people, and I like the respect they have for creative people to give them enough freedom to see that it comes out the best. So I think as people I connected, and of course as a company, here I am. Yeah.
Hi everyone, a very warm welcome. I'm Namita Sachdev from Punjab KC Group. My question goes to you, Ramu sir. Is Dhahanam inspired from true events?
From 2 minutes. See, I would say, see, the point is, I personally think there's no such thing as a true event because we can't find truth even now in a present day. You know, what exactly is true. I'm just giving an example. See, for example, till today, we really don't know what happened to Sushant Singh. We just only had theories. Now, something which happened 30 years back or 40 years back, I can't say that. So fundamentally what happens is there are many such stories which happen in that region, which is interior Andhra Pradesh. I've been hearing them from my childhood, about legends and the revenge stories and all that. So I picked up a lot of them and put it in fictionally. So it's not necessary if this incident will happen in this guy's story. It comes from someone else. So for practical purposes, it is being shown to people who do not know the story. So yes, I would say partly inspired, but it's not a true story. I don't know if I was confusing enough.
Not at all. My another question goes to you, sir. Like Isha said, that you always bring out extraordinary out of the ordinary. May I ask you, how do you go about conceiving your stories?
I mean, most of the time, when I do my research, when I meet the actual people involved, and I felt more than writers, the people who experience that would have an understanding of it. I get the emotional context from there. So I get shocked when someone tells me about for how long. In cinema, we usually, because it's a screenplay and we have limited time, and it moves very fast. But in real life, there are people who take viewing after waiting for 3 years and 4 years, waiting for the right time or due to various other factors, So when there's a line in Godfather, the way it stays best when it is whole bucket, So I think a person who's living the experience, what he tells me, for me, that is the basis of the story for me. And I try my best to capture that aspect. Then that is also going to influence the actor who's performing his body language and how he talks, and all of that comes from there. I mean, since you haven't seen this, I can't take an example from Dhahanam. But to answer your question, as far as Satya is concerned, my primary thing was, when I was in Bombay, I suddenly heard of Mr. Gulshan Kumar being shot and killed. I was the producer of Jamusaram at that time when we got the news. So Jamusaram started telling me, he called me at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I was supposed to meet at 10, and then he went to this place. And so whenever someone meets with a violent death, like an accident or a murder, we tend to kind of roll back what he's been up to, Then a thought occurred to me, if Gulshan woke up at 7 o'clock, what time did the killer wake up? We never think of it, So did he tell his mom to put the alarm clock to wake him up at 5 to prepare? Did he have his breakfast before killing or after killing? So the moment I think of him as a human being, it suddenly looks like, I thought about it, we only hear about them either when they kill or when they die. So what do they do in between? So that for me was the start point of Satya. So that is what brings the human out, and then the crimes they do looks even more believable because as people they're believable. So that's my answer.
Thank you so much, sir. My next question goes to you, Isha.